Any opposed? No, so it is carried unanimously. Um, the next part of our agenda, we are going to turn it over to you, Chief Daniels, for any updates from the Community Service Department.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. So for my updates, let me turn this. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great, great, thank you. I'm still working with my Christmas screens that I got for Christmas. Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. I do have a slide deck, so I'll prepare that, but through you, Madam Chair, I do have some opening remarks. First, I want to take a moment to say thank you for all your continued support of our work in community services. Your leadership and advocacy has helped us ensure that we continue to serve the 92,000 Norwalk residents that call Norwalk home with the various programs and resources that we provide on behalf of our residents. Um, Tonight, I'll be providing two brief updates of two upcoming initiatives that I wanted to just kind of lean into with you. This is not any action items, but always want to keep you on a loop because I will be coming back in the future for some approvals, but love to give you all a heads up in terms of what's happening here in which I call the heart of the city, the Community Services Department. So I'll be sharing two programs tonight to give you an update, and one is the Norwalk Opioid Settlement Fund. Those that may have been in finance, the city through the National Opioid Funding Program, Norwalk has also received some funding, and so I'm going to share what that initiative and how we're thinking about rolling that out. And then for those that have been on this committee, we are in our last quarter, approaching our last quarter, so our mini grant program is coming up. So just again, heads up, we have the RFP proposal in draft. We will follow our standard, which we have done now for 2 years successfully. And then I'll be coming back to you to review the selections and then hopefully move those to Common Council so we can award our smaller nonprofits funding. Also, before I give my my brief updates, I just also wanted to highlight an important a step that's happening tomorrow. Anna Vivian Estrella, who's our Human Services Director, will be presenting will be presenting to the Board of Estimate and Taxation tomorrow night in support of the Community Resource Hub. In our proposed budget, we have requested funding for the 3 full-time community resource specialists. As you all know, I strongly believe that this is a critical investment to ensure our residents receive the support and connections they need. Just this year, we have served over 2,000 residents reaching out to us, whether walk-in call-ins, asking, where do I find help? How do I find out what's happening in the city that I call home? So my statement is that, your partnership is vital in making these initiatives a reality. And I look forward to your continued support as we work to improve the well-being of all Norwalk residents. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share. Through you, Madam Chair, I would now like to share my slides and just kind of give you all an overview of our upcoming programs.
Chief Daniels, one moment. I see Councilperson Barbara Smith with her hand raised.
Thank you, Chair
Yes.
Ayers. Chief Daniels, can I just ask a question? Do you feel that you need support at the BET meeting? Would you like any of us to attend? Because I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. As I understand, tomorrow, the Community Resource Hub is considered through the BET process an open item. For those that have watched it, we were asked to look at some additional funding, and I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, I think the city should be funding it. Is my position. But we are prepared to have that conversation. I am aware that the following week will be public comment. Councilwoman Barbara Smith. So, but for this meeting, I am staying optimistic and believe that our report and our findings will be substantial enough to have the BET say yes. And if that happens tomorrow night, I will be extremely ecstatic and supportive. and happy. But I will keep you all abreast of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we go forward? Okay, Chief Daniels, we're ready for the slides.
Got it. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastico. All right. So just I'm going to move through this quickly. I know we have 2 action items, but in talking with Chair Ayers, just always want to keep you all abreast of what's happening here on the community services side. I'm looking to my right because I have another screen right here, so please forgive me. So as I pointed out in my opening remarks, we are getting ready to launch our final mini grant program. Thank you all for your support. We did one at the beginning of the year, fiscal year, and now we have our final quarter. This is funding that we have, and it's actually in our budget for fiscal 26 as well. And this program was designed to support our smaller nonprofits. This is the way the city has responded. So the eligibility is nonprofits who have an operating budget of $1 million or less. We found, and since I've been here for over 6 years now, you know, the nonprofits are really the heart of the city in a lot of ways because they're on the ground. They connect with residents in a very personal and real way. So this is the way we have been able to identify some funding to support the grant limits are up to $10,000, and we will be starting that fairly soon. So we're working on some launch dates. So you'll just see it's either going to start April 7th or April 14th. We do a press release. We put in our social media. Our small nonprofits are already aware, so they're waiting for the dates to come out. We do a 3-week application period because it was designed to be very labor intensive. Again, it's $10,000 or less, so we're not asking for their whole life story, but they still have to meet our procurement criteria. For example, being a 501c3, have to have 990s and all of that, and that's just all of our routine procurement process. Significant for this committee, we will then plan to come before this committee on May 21st to present through our RFP process. They will be scored, and then those that will be selected through the RFP process, we will come to this committee as we've done in the past to identify the organizations that have been recommended for funding. If you all have any questions, we will be able to answer them. And then we're fortunate that that following week, there's a Common Council approval May 27th, and then disbursement of funds throughout the month of June. So we do have a very robust timeline because this funding is based on our fiscal year. So the idea is to make sure this funding is allocated through this fiscal year, which it was intended to do. And then the second one is a new one. I know some of you may have heard about this as well. The city of Norwalk, like all of our other 169 towns, have received funding out of the National $1 billion Opioid Settlement Fund. So this funding comes from there. Funds must be used in accordance with the distributor and Jensen settlement agreement, which is all online, and we will certainly follow the required criteria. And so we will be utilizing an initial portion of the funds that the city has already received beginning next month. A local context just that just kind of struck me in a lot of ways, that in our community here in Norwalk, we have had a devastating impact with overdose rates doubling since 2019. Norwalk ranks in the top 5 of municipalities in Fairfield County for opioid-related deaths. From 2015 to 24, we lost 155 residents to opioid-related deaths. And so we're excited, and a better lack of word, to be able to have this additional funding. We do have a recovery community already in Norwalk, but again, this additional funding, I'm sure they're going to be delighted to receive it. I'm sure they're going to be delighted to continue the great work that they do in our community. So we have a 2-pronged strategy, which I will just share quickly. As you all know, we have been, this committee supported me in working with the former chief and now Chief Walsh, that we have mental health counseling counselors that are embedded in our police department. So we're excited that, and I'm working in partnership with Chief Walsh, that a part of this funding will have a part-time recovery support specialist. This person specializes in folks struggling with opiate addiction. So that person will be embedded in the behavioral health unit, but also working with partners for referrals and so forth. And then the other part, as I kind of alluded to, we have a few recovery organizations that work in substance abuse and prevention here in our city. And so we'll be drawing down some of this funds to help many of the nonprofits who provide treatment, recovery programs in our city. So I'll be coming before this committee once we do the RFP. Chief will be going through his committee to draw down his funding for the part-time recovery coach. And then we do plan to do a press conference with the mayor, and of course, all of you will be invited so we can really let Norwalk residents that, hey, we receive funding and we are thinking about this thoughtfully and methodically and really working with our recovery community, because the city of Norwalk and ourselves, we don't provide these services directly, but the funding comes through the city. And so I've already had a variety of conversations with our recovery community, and we're just excited to be able to facilitate and get this funding to these organizations so they can do the great work that they do. Thank you very much. I'll entertain any questions.
Chief, thank you so much. My first question is, I think I heard you, but I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
I know I was talking fast.
A mile a minute, but that's okay. You're giving funding for a part-time behavior specialist in the police department, and the police department is giving funding for a part-time specialist. So is that going to equal one full-time person?
No, I apologize. So we are already funding the 2 full-time mental health counselors that's already embedded in the police department. This funding will pay for a part-time recovery support specialist. This is their specialty. They're expert in working with residents who, the police department are part of first responders, to be able to provide connections, resources, and connecting residents to the recovery resources that are in our city.
So it'll be in addition to the 2 people we've already. Okay, that I just need to.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Correct.
Any other questions for the chief? Councilperson Ann Witherstrand.
It's just a quick question about the recovery support specialist. Is that a licensed position, or is that a paraprofessional? I know in the recovery support community, very often they're folks that are not necessarily licensed with master's degrees, but they're just as competent and they're very familiar with, navigating those systems. So I was just curious.
So thank you for that. Please forgive me for cutting you off. So I can't speak to that directly, but what I can tell you is that the Recovery Network of Programs, who we have the contract, they contract with us to provide the 2 mental health counselors in the police department, and we will also contract with them to hire the part-time recovery support specialist for the behavioral health unit. I can say that the 2 mental health counselors, they are master's levels. When I wrote the original program, and I feel comfortable saying that this individual is also licensed and has the credentials to do this specialty work, working alongside our behavioral health unit with Chief Walsh and his team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, good work, Chief. Good work. Good work. We will
Thank you so much.
Move right along with our agenda. We have some action items tonight. I will read them and then we will turn it over back to Chief Daniels. The first action item is A1. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rayling, to execute any and all agreements and documents, instruments, or amendments as may be necessary with Carver Foundation, Inc. to provide financial assistance for the 2025 Summer Enrichment Program in the amount of $147,000. Account noted. Chief, before you speak to this, I am excited. I know we do have Navalette here with us on behalf of the Carver to speak also to this item if there's any additional questions from the council. The Carver does the good work, and they have been doing it for a substantial amount of time here in our city. Chief Daniels, turn it to you.
Thank you. You all received my letter of support. The city has a long-standing history with the Carver, which is beyond my tenure here, and I'm continuing to ask. I was able to fund a portion of the program. Unfortunately, the budget did not allow us to fund at a rate that we had planned to, but we're just excited that we are able to fund the 147 to support the summer enrichment program, to support our youngsters during their transition during the summer. So I asked for your continued support to support this program. I have put it in my budget again for fiscal year 27 and waiting for the approval for there. Ms. Navala Peterkin, who is the CEO and president of the Carver Foundation, is here if you have any specific questions to the great work that they do. Thank you.
Councilperson Barbara Smith.
I have no questions, but Novelette, I just want to thank you for your work. As a teacher in the school district, I saw every day how you touched our kids and continue to do so. So it's a pleasure to be able to support the summer enrichment program, and I do wish we could do more.
Thank you.
Councilperson Dewan Wiggins.
Thank you, for the Chair Harris. Just really quick question: is this the same program that was we funded last year?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a one-time, like an annual funding.
Yeah,
Say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
so the funding is supporting two enrichment camps, one at Carver and one at the for South Norwalk residents, providing an opportunity for a camp that is walking distance to families, and it will be at the Old Columbus, where it's now the Sono Neighborhood School, which is the Old Columbus site. So so we have 150 student targeted at Carver and 150 student at Sono, and I believe we're within a week they were all filled. So just to give you some background, the 6-week program costs our families $400 for the total for the 6 weeks. So it's an affordable opportunity, and it's a high quality program that has a literacy component. So we have a certified literacy teacher, a math teacher, and a science teacher that's a part of the program. And the $400 includes all the trips that they take. They do at least one trip a week, and there's swimming, opportunity to go to a Lake Compons or Playland, depending on the age group. And so it's filled with a lot of project-based learning. So it's really a high quality opportunity for our most income challenged families.
So when did this program start? I never heard of the program that was done at the South Norwalk School, but I'm curious because I could definitely spread the word.
We've been doing that for before I even got to Carver. The mayor asked me to take that over when the South Norwalk Community Center kind of went out of business, and so we took it over, and we've upgraded and make it a lot more robust than what was offered before. And so probably 12 years we've been running it, but before then the one at South Norwalk has been run through the South Norwalk Community Center.
And prior
it just changed location. Oh, okay.
yes, and prior to that, Neon ran it at South Norwalk.
Yeah.
So historically, there has always been a camp for those South Norwalk residents historically.
Yeah.
I can speak to it because I ran the camp. There's always been a camp historically for South Norwalk residents, but with the change in organizations and stuff, the mayor made a commitment to keep that service in the community of South Norwalk, and Carver graciously decided that they would pick that program up for the citizens in South Norwalk.
And what we've done is that we've leveraged the funding that we get from the city to be able to offer just a different kind of a opportunity. It's $100 and something thousand that we spend on each of those camps.
Any other questions on this item? Okay, time to vote. All in favor, let me see your hand. It is, okay. All, any abstentions? Any opposed? It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Peterkin.
you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. How do I
B,
get off of here? How do I get off?
the little thing on the bottom, it says leave on the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
B, health. I can't read with glasses on. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Railing, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, or amendments as may be necessary with CINTAS Corporation for a period of 5 years in the amount of 240,000, excuse me, two $2,476 for year one, increased by 3% for each year thereafter. Account noted. Chief Daniels?
Yeah, so we're excited to have Deanna Diamore, our health directors, with us. She's gonna, I think, two of her team members can speak to it, but we just want to welcome Deanna, our health director. Good evening, Deanna.
Good evening, Lamont. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Chairperson Ayers, for reading the action item. And I'm sorry, we should have put an apostrophe in there for for the comma for the thousand. So that's on us. But I just want to introduce Darlene Hoffler. She is our she is our supervisor of clinical services, and so she'll be able to speak to this item.
Good evening, everyone. The health department's looking to update the services for clinical apparel and laundering services for our clinical program staff. We've investigated several companies and we've gotten the quotes from them. And the agreement that you have is standard in the industry. We appreciate your consideration and ask for your support to move this forward with executing this agreement for these important services. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions about this particular action item? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Any abstentions? Any nays? The action item is carried. Thank you so very much. The next item is B2. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Railing, to execute agreements with Connecticut State Community College, Norwalk, for health department staff and volunteers to use space on Connecticut State Norwalk campus for the Know Your Numbers health screening program on various dates between April 1, 2025 and March 31st, 2026. Chief Daniels.
Thank you again. So I'll turn it over to our health director and she can introduce Kelly, who will be speaking to this.
Thanks, Lamont. So Kelly Tomlinson is our health educator, and she runs these programs. So I'm going to pass it on to her to review the action item and answer any questions.
Good evening, everyone. As part of our Know Your Numbers health screening, we are looking to partner with CT State to offer this screening to their faculty and staff. And as part of that work together, they had asked that we sign their facility and equipment use agreement.
That was quick. I thought you were going to say
Very
more.
quick, yeah. It's
Any questions on this action item? Just a point of clarity, we're making an agreement to use what?
To have the screening at their location, and then they would also, as part of their location, let us use their table and chairs. And so as part of that,
tables
they
and
wanted
chairs.
us
It's
to
not like-
sign an agreement just stating that that's what we would be doing.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to formalize it, so we need the mayor's signature, and you all have that authorizing body to get him to sign our contract.
I heard equipment, and I don't know why I thought medical equipment. I'm like, why are we?
Nope. Super
No, just
super
tables
easy.
and
Just
chairs.
chairs and tables.
Councilperson Ann?
I just have a question. This looks great. Can you just say a little bit about how this program's been utilized and what are, just
Yeah,
a little, maybe other people already know about this. I'm new. I just love to hear how it's being utilized and
definitely. So as part of our chronic disease prevention work, God, I can't believe it's been going so fast, but it's about 2.5, almost 3 years now of offering these health screenings. And so we use our staff and our our emergency response team volunteers to offer blood pressure, blood sugar, BMI, and waist circumference. And then we do a little bit of health education and help people understand kind of that snapshot in time health status, with really the goals of helping people know and understand their numbers, but then also really trying to help people encourage them to see their healthcare provider more regularly. And if they don't have a medical home, giving them the resources of local, health services to get connected to.
that's great. Thank you for that background.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of this action item, please show your hand. Okay, we have 5. Any opposed? Any abstentions? 1 abstention. Okay, noted.
No, my hand was no. I was with it, but my hands was stuck for some reason.
Okay, so are
Hear
you
me?
voting? Yes, I can. Are you voting for this?
I'm for it. Yeah, I'm for it. Yes,
Thank
my
you.
hand it came up late.
Okay, thank you. So we are all voting for this action item. Thank you. So it passes. I couldn't think about that real quick. It passes. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, Greg Burnett here. Just wanted to verbally state that I was in favor of all the items, even though my hand did not go up. Thank you.
Tesco, can you please note that Councilperson Greg Burnett voted in favor of all 3 action items? Anything else at this time? Yes, Councilperson DeJuan Wiggins.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Oh, unanimously. All right. Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you again.
Bye.
Have a great
Thank you.
evening.
Night,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.